Welcome back to the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. I'm Rich Walsh, and getting back to the draft and what the Steelers did over the weekend. And one of the questions I have right now is everyone's always looking for the diamond in the rough, the next star that you find in the 5th, 6th, 4th round. I mean, Kevin Dotson, I would argue, is that guy last year. This year, Mark Kaboly. Do you have any names for me? I kind of like Buddy Johnson, maybe that punter, Presley Harvin III. Do you have any sleepers or any diamonds in the rough this year?
Well, I'm not going to go that late in the draft or Presley Harvin or Loudermilk. I think both of those could be very good. I'm going a little bit earlier in the 3rd round with Kendrick Green. I think this is a guy that can come in right away and be effective immediately. There's a reason why he dropped to, I believe it was at 87th. He's a little undersized. His ability doesn't fit, and his scheme doesn't fit in every team's scheme, and he played a lot of guard rather than center. But this guy's nasty, aggressive. He can move. He can pull. I think he can fit in there right away. I think the biggest need coming in to this draft was center, and I think Kendrick Green might be the guy that you look back on 6 months from now, and he might be your Joe Green Great Performance Award winner for the Rookie of the Year.
Oh. Yeah, Green's a great call. I like that, Mark. And just for the sake of picking somebody different, I really like the Quincy Roche pick where they took him. I think they needed depth at that position. They went out and got it, a guy from a program where they like pedigree programs, and that's a guy from one. And also the experience he had previous to Miami. I do like some of the undrafted free agents, to be honest, that they brought in as well. You know, I really like Shakur Brown from Michigan State, and obviously Lamont Wade. Maybe I'm biased because he lives right over the hill in Clareton for me. But I like both of those undrafted free agent signings as well. Well, Brown's a guy that should have been picked in the 3rd or 4th round if you go by all the experts. Todd McShay had him as a top 100 prospect. Actually, McShay had him ahead of every guy the Steelers picked outside of Harris and Freiermuth. So I'm trying to scratch my head. What happened to this guy? He ran a horrible 40 at Michigan's pro day. It was 4.6. So that probably bumped him down. But Pro Football Focus, we like to use Pro Football Focus when it fits our arguments, and then we like to crap on those guys when it doesn't. He was by coverage in the Big Ten last year, the best corner in the entire league. And for him to go undrafted is a mystery to me. I think that has the potential to be one of these guys that steps in and maybe gives them production, because Lord knows there's an opening. Jason Pierre, Brian St. Pierre, Pierre McGuire. I don't even know the guy's name. And Jason Lane, Justin Lane. My goodness. I think there's a chance for Brown to actually make the roster and play.
Hey, Pony, I'm going to throw you a softball here. What position should they have dressed higher in the draft? I mean, we heard Chris Mack just talk about Quincy Roche from Miami maybe going with an outside linebacker and edge rusher earlier in the draft. I mean, is there one position you think that they should have addressed earlier?
Well, I'm still scratching my head over the fact that Chuks Okorafor's gotten beat out at right tackle 2 years in a row. And now and we say the run game stunk last year because of the blocking. He started 15 games. Now he's going to go over to left tackle, and all of a sudden he's going to figure it out. Mike Munchak's not coaching these guys anymore. The projects don't come along the way that they used to with Munchak, with guys like Villanueva and Filer. Okay, so I've got less faith in the Steelers bringing these raw mounds of clay and turning them into good players on the offensive line. So I'm really concerned about left tackle. I thought Mack was concerned about line. He had a great tweet 2 months ago. He said, why pick Etienne or Harris when you can't block for him? And 2 months later, he flip-flop. I'm still trying to figure that one out, Chris.
No, hey, opinions change, Pony.
That, in my opinion, you were crunching Chuk's film? You were watching B.J. Finney and got excited in the last 2 months?
Nobody, they don't even watch their own film, Pony. Let's not get crazy. No, I think, look, I stated going into the draft on Thursday, I'm fine with Najee Harris first if they go with 2 linemen in the next 2 picks. If both of Friday night's picks had been linemen, I'd be a whole hell of a lot happier with this. But they didn't, exactly. And it's why I question, you bring up a bunch of great points, Andrew, about Pat Freiermuth. I'm a Penn State guy. I love Freiermuth. I just don't know about taking him there when the needs were so much greater, both interior and exterior offensive line, and you could have had a really good one there. I know there was a run on some of the talent they may have wanted right before their pick at 55. They still should have gone there, in my opinion, even if Freiermuth ends up being a quality tight end for them down the line.
If there's any silver lining is
maybe Chooks is a better left tackle and right tackle when it comes to running the ball. Teams usually run the ball left to right, so they could help him out there a little bit. But I agree, left tackle was a spot you could probably try to get a little bit earlier in the draft to help that out. But, you got Joe Haig, right? He's going to fit in right away. He's like one of the only free agents they gave
was so bad
more
in his
than $1 million
$1
to,
start.
right?
They changed their entire line, Mark. He started one game in Tampa. It was such a disaster. They started moving people to other positions to get him out of there.
Hey, guys, before we go to break.
I'm absolutely joking.
Before we go to break, Mark, I'm going to start here with you. Is there any one guy then? Can you give me a name or someone that they passed up on to take someone else that you would have taken?
Wow, that's a hard call right now because I don't know if you're getting down to the 55 in the second round, if you're going to get any plug-and-play type of guy. You're going to have to take a guy in that first round or move up early in the second to be able to get a guy that can come right out of the gate and be able to start. I mean, I guess Jalen Mayfield was around. He was around early third, but I don't really like that pick whatsoever. See, if I would have did it, I would have went Creed Humphrey in the second, then picked a tackle in the third at some point, but then Kendrick Green fell. So I think it worked out pretty decent. And by the way, Pony, I always crap on PFF, so I'm okay with that. Back to the earlier thing. Just wanted to make that okay.
Chris, Mack, do you have any guys that you might have taken?
I think Mark just mentioned him. Creed Humphrey would have been a great pick at that spot at 55. Again, Mark pointed it out that they would have been a little deeper into the list of tackles than in the third round. But again, I wanted offensive line second and third after Najee first, and they didn't do that. So I can't be ecstatic about as much as I like Freiermuth, that pick.
And I'm going to wonder about Tevin Jenkins and Landon Dickerson. I know the medical on Dickerson scared off teams, but he went early in the second. If he's healthy, he's going to be one of the best centers in the league.
All right. All good calls there. We'll see what happens. We'll know this answer to this in about, 2-3 years from now. All right, we're taking a break. Coming back, we're going to talk about what do the Steelers do now? Do they make any moves in the offseason? Do they add any free agents? That's all coming up next.